Hey guys, SSF here with an Ask.fm request video. It's been a while since I did like a series of these, but I think enough time has passed that I can go back to the questions you guys have been asking and answer them through video. So, the first one, I just got asked this a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact. Good timing. But there was a question I was asked. If you wish to ask me any questions, by the way, you can always go to ask.fm/SSF921. And that's where you can ask any SFM questions about gaming or whatever, what have you. But I got asked, is 3D platforming dying? That's an interesting one. I didn't like questions like those. I am all for answering because, quite frankly, that's something that you really could not answer in one little. Because the thing about SFM is you don't really get a lot of freedom to answer. Like you can have a lot of text, but there's a very specific limit on how far you can go. But is 3D platforming dying? Because besides Mario and Sonic, what series are left? Well, 3D platforming. See, here's the thing about 3D platforming is it was never really prospering to begin with. I mean, you had Mario and Sonic, you had Crash Bandicoot, you had Banjo Kazooie, but other than that, you really didn't have any 3D platforming. I'm gonna be quite honest. Mega Man, you kind of had 3D platforming, but it's become well known for 2D platforming more so than 3D platforming, along with a lot of other platformers like Super Meat Boy. Like those seem to be 2D platforming. Like 2D platforming is like prospering a lot more than 3D platforming. But the thing is, 3D platforming was never really prospering to begin with, and it never really, like, other than Mario and Sonic, no, there weren't really many other series to begin with. To be quite honest, like I said, Crash Bandicoot was the only other 3D platforming franchise, and then like I said, Banjo Kazooie. But Banjo Kazooie wasn't really. It had three games, and that was it. Um, not really said that, so that's not really saying much, but it was really Mario, Sonic, and Crash Bandicoot, pretty much. And then Crash Bandicoot, their last game was like 5 years ago or so. But 3D platforming, I wouldn't say it's dying, but more like it hasn't really, it hasn't gotten anywhere. Um, 3D platforming is still very much alive and well. It's just, it's not really getting any new additions, I guess is the way to put it. Like, I can't really think of any 3D platformers, even back in the 90s, you know, like I said, there really weren't that many, and even now there's still, the number hasn't really changed in quite a while, so, unfortunately, I don't really think there's going to be any new 3D platformers anytime soon. Um, Games like Rayman are also known for 2D platforming and not 3D, so. But yeah, I'd say definitely for sure 3D platforming is not dying. It's just, I want to say it's stagnant. Like, it's not really. It's not getting anywhere. Like, it's not getting anything new. Like, it's just Mario and Sonic at this point. But that's been the case for a long, long time, so it hasn't really. It's just, there hasn't been much in the way of change. But yes, that is pretty much what I can answer about that. I think a lot of people feel like that because first-person shooters and third-person shooters are just so prominent now that you know that other genres are dying. But no, there really aren't any genres that are dying. To be quite honest, RPGs are still alive and well. 3D platformers are still alive and well. 2D platformers are not only alive and well, but they're getting more and more frequent. Not gonna lie. Um, what else? What are the name? What's this kind of genre that? What's this genre that they call games like Rock Band and Just Dance? I can't remember, but those are still alive and well. But yeah, a lot of genres are still alive and well. I mean, even though there is a prominent genre out there, it's not the only one. And even then, to be quite honest, you might get one or two, uh, maybe three for FPSs per year. But that's essentially the same with other genres too. To be quite honest, I mean, it's not really. it might seem like it's more prominent the first person shooters and third person shooters, but that's just because they obsess over them more. Like that's just because the media tends to obsess over these things more like they're the coming of Christ when they're not. Like that's that's the problem is that they get a lot more attention in the media than the other genres. Even though I feel like the other genres deserve just as much attention. Um, but they make FPSs and third-person shooters this big thing that like E3 is all over the place with them, and it's and again it's mostly because the main thing that gets the most attention are shooting games, and the companies that tend to do the shooting games are the ones we always see at E3 every year. Like for example, Sony, you know, they do a lot of shooting games. EA does a lot of sports games. Like that's all they really do. To be quite honest, there's an occasional shooter or two in there, and maybe once in a blue moon there's a platformer. But it's EA is so lacking in variety. It's not even funny. Um, Microsoft, they are always doing shooters. Like there's rarely a time like during the Connect days, it was so strange to see the route they were taking because it was not like them. Not in the bad sense, but it was not it was far from the norm that you would expect from Microsoft with their hardcore, mature audience, and that's something that I noticed that really struck out during the Connect times, back when they were just making the Connect this huge thing. Um, Nintendo, I'd say, is the only exception to this. Nintendo tends to have a lot more diverse variety. Like last E3 was really a good sign of this. They had quite a few platformers, but they didn't have an RPG. They had some puzzle games. They had platformers, but they had a lot more of a variety than I noticed that a lot of the other companies did and developers did. Ubisoft is Ubisoft. I don't think they really do shooting games. To be quite honest, I mean, I think the only one that comes close was what was the name of it? Um, I think it was Tom Clancy's the Tom Clancy games. I think those were the ones that are shooting. I think they're shooting games, as far as I can recall. I haven't played them, so I'm not sure about that. But like I was saying, even Konami, when they were still doing video games and people still liked them, uh, yeah, even when Konami was still a thing back in E3, like last year they had a conference, but they didn't really do that much of the way of shooters. They were more towards Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid. I think Metal Gear Solid isn't really a shooting game. I don't think it's more like a stealth kind of game, as far as I know. But other than that, shooting games, it's like I said, the shooting games we get a lot of tend to be seen at E3 because one reason is that we get a lot of, like I said, a lot of the companies that do shooting games tend to have conferences at E3, so they tend to get a lot of trailers and stuff like that. But another reason is just, like I said, the media just goes crazy about it. They don't talk much about the Mario games, and they don't talk much about Sonic games. Even 10 years ago, they didn't. I don't think they really were that gung ho about Sonic, as compared to the shooting games. But I don't think it was as bad though. But anyway, they talk about shooting games a lot more often, and I know I've been going on about this, but that's where I was getting at with the whole 3D platforming dying bit. It's like it doesn't. It might look like that way, but looks can be deceiving. In fact, other genres are actually prospering a lot more. Um, and I will be quite honest. I don't know how well shooting games do nowadays. I haven't really kept up to speed about that. I mean, I heard Destiny did well, but was majorly like overhyped, and in some cases there was some lies and stuff in them. Um, there was the case of Call of Duty games, of course. Call of Duty. Now that I think about it, I'm really surprised Activision doesn't do any conferences. I mean, yeah, I guess it's because they don't have much in the way of variety because it's Call of Duty, but I'm kind of surprised Activision doesn't really do a conference now. I mean, the Square Enix could do a conference, and you know, Square Enix could do a conference, and what was the other? What were the other ones? Crap, I already forgot. There's so many conferences to keep track of. Um, Bethesda, that's right. Bethesda, yeah, they're doing a conference as well, and if these two companies, developers can do, third parties can do conferences, then I'm pretty sure Activision could probably get away with one as well. And you better believe people would watch that just on the basis because of Activision and their Call of Duty and But anyway, yeah, I think it's. I don't think 3D platform is dying. It's just it's a mirage because of a couple of factors. But no, it's not dying. None of the other genres are dying. In fact, some of them are even prospering because of it. But anyway, that's that. I will see you guys in the next edition of the Ask.fm requests. I still have four more I think I need to go through in this session alone. So I will see you guys next time. But for now, this is SSF signing out. Sayonara, guys.